Get yourself to okjersey.com where you can buy the best football shirts around, including this one I'm wearing now, and of course, the absolutely magnificent Black Spurs away shirt. And as if that wasn't enough, if you go onto their website and like the look of one of the shirts there, choose your size, pick the Champions League badge for the sleeve as well if you're that way inclined, then go to checkout and type the code BARN into the coupon section. That's BARN as in short for Barnaby. And when you do, you'll get a whopping 8% off your purchase. Now, I'm no mathematician, but 8% means if you've spent, say, and let's face it, I'm being optimistic here, 100 quid, then you get £8 off, not to be sniffed at. Get yourself to okjersey.com to pick one up, or if you're too lazy to type in the website, just scan the QR code that's on the left of me throughout this video. Enjoy. Hi guys, thank you for waiting around for my post-match reaction to the Tottenham Hotspur 2, Brentford 0. I was just doing a quick TikTok about it all. And yeah, look, as I said at the end of the game on the watch along, good result, better performance. People are saying in the comments, I can see already, it was the Archie Gray, Rodrigo Bentancur and XAVI SIMONS show. And it really was. I thought they complemented themselves, each other, well in central midfield. I was impressed by how Archie Gray was taking the ball on the half turn. He's got incredible maturity for his tender years. Bentancur looked better as a result, as far as I'm concerned. And XAVI SIMONS, of course, the pièce de résistance with his assist and his goal. I'm absolutely shattered, to be honest, so I'm going to keep this to relatively short, but I'll try and go through a lot of your comments. But the most important thing is, let's not kid ourselves, guys. Thomas Frank was under absolutely enormous pressure before this game. One win at home in the league, this only being his second win, Burnley and Brentford. Soon we're going to have to try and beat teams who don't start with a B at home. But he picked the right team today. I was disappointed when I saw that Destiny Udogie had picked up an injury, as he tends to do far too much before the game. But he picked the right team. Jed Spence, by the way, I thought was also outstanding throughout the game, just getting up and down that left-hand side, driving to the byline, creating chances. He got in one-on-one himself. Keller had to make 4 or 5 important saves for Brentford today. And Tottenham just looked better. The thing that frustrates me about Tottenham, I don't want to come across like a neg the whole time, but, you know, we're 2-0 up there. And at half-time, I was saying, you know, all we need to do is just keep the ball, pop the ball around, you know. But we were kind of unable to. And every time we tried to keep the ball, we would go back to Vicario, who would hit it long, and we'd lose the duel. And I'm like, we're better than that. I think we've got players down the middle of the park who are better than that. But anyway, most importantly, we never let them get in behind us. Did Vicario even have to make a single save? I don't think he did. Do you know what it felt like today? It felt like a lot of performances that I've seen other teams have against us this year, where we never really touch the sides against them. We never cause them any trouble, and Brentford didn't really cause us any trouble today at all. Just some crosses, some set pieces, a bizarre kind of fatigue performance from Brentford. I thought they were very poor, but I'm glad for Thomas Frank, because as I said in a TikTok video earlier today, you know, we've all seen it when a manager who's under pressure has lost to his former team, and it usually spells the end. So that will relieve some of that pressure for Thomas Frank. And yeah, look, I'll go and have a quick look at the Premier League table now. And let's have a look. Tottenham are up to 8th, 22 points. Only 3 points behind Chelsea in 4th with 25. And then there's a gap between Chelsea and Villa in 3rd. And Villa are only 3 points behind Arsenal now, who are only 2 points ahead of Man City. That was good of Aston Villa to turn them over with a goal in the last kick of the game today. But it doesn't matter about them a lot. What matters is we're all calling for a bit of a performance and something different from Spurs, and some more football down the middle of the park particularly. And we started doing that a bit today. Cantab says, we actually won a game at home, Barnaby. Yes, we did. Bin Guy says, yeah, Dr. Tottenham showed Frank how to deal with crap side at home. Frank looked stunned. Barnaby, you calm. Tell it as it is, unlike too many clowns on site online. Thank you, mate, I guess. And Henrik says, the start of something great, Frank Ball. Gary Riddell, thank you, Gary. He says that Richarlison worked his socks off. Actually, yes, let's talk about Richarlison. He did. Not only pressing from the front, but also, do you remember that occasion where some pinball was happening in the air, headed pinball, head tennis in our own box, and Richarlison was the only Spurs player who really showed desire to get his head on the ball time and time again. So let's give Richarlison some credit. He got his goal and he worked really hard. I was surprised when Richarlison was starting in the 9 and Kolo Muani on the left. I don't think Kolo Muani had his best game, but he worked hard. but Richarlison did get his goal, and I'm pleased for him. And Kolo Muani missed a good chance at the back post, a header that he should have put back across the keeper, and he didn't. So let's see what happens. Helio says, Xavi Simons really did come alive this game. Hope to see more of that. Yeah, he kind of dropped off as the whole team did in that second half, but he was always there down the middle of the pitch, in little pockets, in little tight spaces, taking it on the half turn, driving at the opposition, and he wasn't knocked off the ball nearly as much today as he has been in other games. So really pleased with Xavi Simons. He'll get so much confidence from that. And we've got a player. I've always known we've got a player there. And it does take players who come from foreign leagues a long time to acclimatize. And I don't know what he was doing in those kind of weeks where he was not started 4 games in a row, but that was a good game for him to start. And I would start him as well against Slavia Prague in the week and tell him to get on the ball and really make the most of that game as well. Let's see what happens. Cantab asks who got man of the match. Simons did. SJD says Odeberg needs to shoot earlier. And Patrick Thomas says, wow, you thought Richarlison played well? Yeah, I did. I thought he put his body around and I thought he worked hard. I think that second half was pretty average from the whole Spurs team, but in terms of putting a shift in, I thought Richarlison was good. Yeah, that's what I think, but we're not all going to agree on everything. So Loin Stakes says, Frank has finally seen the problems and addressed them. Brilliant reaction today. Yeah, I'm happy for him. Zonk says, great result. So happy for Xavi Simons. Well played all round. Bit of negativity from TJ here. Says, Sarr and Danso are just bad. Sarr looked like he just played 90. I don't agree with that. Sarr had a chance where the ball got stuck under his feet when he just came on. Sarr and Danso came on the last 10 minutes. I don't think it's that bad to be all neg about them today. Lee says, we got the fight back at Newcastle today. Had some real belief to go and play. It's a confidence game. Yeah, thank you for your comment, Lee. I agree with that. I was talking in the week, would that kind of last minute equaliser against Newcastle actually lead to us having more confidence? And it seems to have done that. We never really let Brentford lay a glove on us today. And maybe a lot of that comes from that last minute equaliser. Ace Mod says we're 1 win away from top 4. And Nick in Hong Kong says, well, we finally put in a good 80 minutes. He said, great 80 minutes, actually. Kudus back in form. Mickey and QT hard as nails and Spence flying down the wing. Xavi looked a different player today. Well done, lads. Yeah, I agree with all of that. Kudus, slightly frustrating player. So much talent, so much skill. But is it that he doesn't believe in his teammates? Or why does he need to kind of hold it on for one touch too many? All the great players in the world, in history, know when to give it 1 and 2 touch to go and then make space for themselves. And Kudus' ability to hold the ball up means he has the option to give it off and then go and get it again so often, but he doesn't. He takes it second touch, third touch. And there was one time in the second half where, again, I'm sorry to be negative, but he tried to do something completely bonkers where he'd already done the hard work with Porro down the right-hand side, little 1 and 2 touch stuff. They'd made some space for themselves. He could have driven down the line, but instead he turns on it and then flicks it up to himself and tries to volley it back. It goes off the pitch and Brentford, as a result, throw it early and are nearly in. So that was frustrating. He had a decent game, Kudus, but I just, slightly frustrating players. Harry says, we're the 3rd highest scorers in the league. For the naysayers, put that in your pipe and smoke it. It doesn't feel like we are, but sure, we'll take it. Patrick says their keeper was great. Yeah, he played well. Patrick also says Archie Gray had a good game. I agree with that. Systemic Frog says played well in that way today. Patrick's angry at me for saying bad things about Kudus. Says leave Kudus alone. He's been holding this team together all season. I'd say he had a really great start to the season. I think Kudus has dropped off a bit, but he's a great player. Marky says brilliant that Xavi scored. And Ajax says wish Tell had seen the pitch today. Yeah, I agree, because Tell, of course, not available, not in the squad for the Champions League game. So surprised he didn't get anything today. Systemic Frog says sell Rishi in January. He's worth more than £20 million right now. Anyway, guys, look, the most important thing, it was a good win, a 2-0 win. I was worried about it before the game, but Brentford looked knackered and Spurs did well. And now we roll on. Slavia Prague got to win that very important game in the Champions League on Tuesday night and then roll on to next weekend. What is it next weekend? Is it Forest away maybe? Forest are on a bad run if it is. But I think we've got Forest and Liverpool in the next few games. But most importantly, got the 3 points, back up to 8th for now. And Thomas Frank still in his job. And hopefully some more confidence can roll into it. Because let's look at Aston Villa. They had a terrible start. I think they lost 4 or 5 on the spin. They were in the bottom 3 and they've now won 7 in a row. They're in 3rd place, just 3 behind top. So if you can put together a run, if you can get confidence through your team and the defense are doing okay, then good things could come. most importantly, come on you Spurs. Get yourself to okjersey.com where you can buy the best football shirts around, including this one I'm wearing now, and of course, the absolutely magnificent black Spurs away shirt. And as if that wasn't enough, if you go onto their website and like the look of one of the shirts there, choose your size, pick the Champions League badge for the sleeve as well if you're that way inclined, then go to checkout and type the code BARN into the coupon section. That's BARN as in short for Barnaby. And when you do, you'll get a whopping 8% off your purchase. Now, I'm no mathematician, but 8% means if you've spent, say, and let's face it, I'm being optimistic here, 100 quid, then you'd get £8 off, not to be sniffed at. Get yourself to okjersey.com to pick one up, or if you're too lazy to type in the website, just scan the QR code that's on the left of me throughout this video.